Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm off-site, so not at Wimbledon, off-site back home after watching some of the tennis and being there as media, attending the press conferences, and we're going to do a preview and prediction video for the first women's semi-final, which is Elena Rybakina versus Barbora Krejcikova, and I cannot wait to get into this one because it's a very interesting one to break down. Krejcikova actually leads the head-to-head 2-0. Both times they played, it wasn't on grass, so we'll talk about it in a second, both on hard court. But Krejcikova coming out in 3 tight sets in both of those matches. So it wasn't straightforward, let's just say that, but never played on grass. In terms of some milestones before we get into the nuts and bolts of the video, Krejcikova is playing her first Wimbledon semi-final, of course, and Rybakina has won the title at Wimbledon in 2022, so looking to make another final and also win a second Wimbledon title. Before we do break it down in depth, do hit that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Thank you to you guys who are supporting us by being members as well. It really does help us out, honestly, and that's the reason, not just you members, but all you subscribers, all the people that like and share our content. That is why we are able to go as media to Wimbledon, as accredited media to Wimbledon, and we appreciate that so much. And I'm hoping that you guys have enjoyed the player interviews that we've done with all of the players. We've done it with so many different players, the top players like Djokovic and Alcaraz and Rybakina and Swiatek and everyone else, qualifiers and everyone in between. So all the players generally fantastic, and I think post Wimbledon I'll do a more in-depth video on the experience and also talking about players, etc. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you haven't checked them out, do check out our playlist, tennis interviews. They're all there. There's so many of them. They're bite-sized chunks, so hopefully easy to listen to. And if you've got any questions that you want me to ask the players in the latter end of this tournament, please do just comment on this video and let me know, especially for Rybakina and Krejcikova, and we will do our best to ask them those questions in the press conference if we get the chance to. So let's first of all talk about their route to the semi-final stage. Then I'm going to talk about the head-to-head briefly, and then I want to break it down tactically and also statistically. There's some really good insights that women provide, and I'll be able to walk you through those. So we can talk about that, and then ultimately, of course, I'll give you guys my prediction. So, okay, let's talk about their route to the semi-final stage then. So for Krejcikova, she was very, very close to potentially going out in the first round to Kudermetova, a 3-set win there. And look, her route has been pretty tough. I have to say, Volinets, who I interviewed qualifying, and we also managed to interview her as well. I think it was Ash and maybe someone else as well. We managed to get a one-to-one with her in the first week of Wimbledon. She was playing some really good tennis. 22 years of age, good win for Krejcikova, I think there. Buzas Manero, good win for Krejcikova as well. Although the Spaniard had to retire, and of course it's been an unfortunate tournament with a lot of retirements, I have to say, and could partly be down to the roof being closed a lot. Could there be other reasons? Potentially, but we won't get into that too much. Daniel Collins, a good win again for the Czech player. Collins has been playing phenomenal this year in her farewell tour, you'd say? Was that fair to say? I think so. And then Ostapenko, who was absolutely bashing it. I mean, most of her matches, she wasn't even having to run 1 kilometer, and she was playing some phenomenal tennis. The first Wimbledon quarterfinal in a few years, Ostapenko. And look, in the presses, I was talking to her. She was super happy with how she was playing, and I think it's a really good win. I think Krejcikova played really well. She managed to adapt well to the wind. That was clearly, I think, affecting some of the players today at Wimbledon, given that the roof has been closed so much. I think they haven't been used to the outdoor conditions. Krejcikova, though, definitely adapted more than Ostapenko, and that's why she came out on top. It was 2 relatively tight sets, 6-4, 7-6 in the end, but a good win for the Czech player. For Rybakina, well, She has been in fine form. She has been only dropping the one set so far. Beat Roos and then Sigmund, who she dropped a set to there. That was a little bit strange, I would say, and didn't play her best tennis, but came back strongly against Wozniacki, kind of scared. She was 6-3, and I think it was 1 love or 3 love up in the second set. And I watched that match on centre court as media, and I have to say the media seats are fantastic. They've got a laptop tray and all sorts. But anyways, yeah, she was playing really well in that match against Kalinskaya, who came out firing on all cylinders in the first couple of games, and Rybakina tamed it nicely. And the same with Svitolina as well. Svitolina playing some really good tennis. Of course, a semi-finalist here last year. Rybakina once again taming an early onslaught from Svitolina and came out clinically to win. So yeah, very impressive from her. She's definitely the favorite, and I think she's sick of us. Well, I say us. Well, she's sick of the media saying that she's the favorite, I think. But she's lovely in the press conferences. She really is. She, yeah, she's super nice, and I think she's just happy to be playing really good tennis right now. And the feeling that I get is if she is fit and healthy, she has the confidence and self belief that she's going to win the title. And she hasn't said it outright, but she said we'll take it one match at a time. And sometimes you wake up and you don't feel great. And she's entitled to say that because it's definitely the case. But I think if she stays healthy, then she's right to think she is the favourite. In terms of matches played, they played once in 2021, once in 2022. Krejcikova won both in 3 sets. I'm not actually going to talk about it too much because there's not really a whole lot to talk about given it's a different surface and given they were so long ago. One thing I want to point out as we get into the tactical section of this preview and we break it down is that Rybakina is leading the stats between these two pretty heavily, and not just actually for for Krejcikova and Rybakina, but all the other semi-finalists. So we've got here performance insights, and so these are ratings out of 10 for shot quality. Now on forehand quality, Rybakina is at a 9.2. The next best is a Paulini at 8.5. Krejcikova is at a 7.9. There's a massive difference between Rybakina and Krejcikova's forehand quality so far this tournament. Return quality, Rybakina is at 8.2. Krejcikova is at 6.8. Serve quality, Rybakina is at 9. Krejcikova is at 7.7. So not only that, Rybakina also tops the ace list, in the tournament, and Krejcikova I think is with 31 aces. Krejcikova is down at 16. If we want to talk about, first serve points won, which is always good to talk about. 82% of first serve points won in the tournament so far for Rybakina. Krejcikova is at 73%. So look, the stats that we're talking about for Krejcikova are not anything to be ashamed of. They're impressive, but I think the big difference that we're seeing here is that Rybakina is just topping everything. She is the one at the moment who looks super dominant, and it's tough to see how she doesn't win this match. And despite having the 2-0 head-to-head in favor of Krejcikova, I find it very hard to make a strong case for the Czech player, but I'll try my best. Now, you might say to me, well, Fazan, what does she need to do? Krejcikova has a few things. She needs to serve really well, hit her spots, because Rybakina has been returning really well, hence that stat. She also said in the press conference today that she was pretty happy with how she's returning. She's found that it's been a lot easier. There's been a lot of instances where she's got broken, then she's managed to break back straight away. She only had, I think, 50% of first serves in today, Rybakina, so she did rely on her returning at times, and it definitely got her out of trouble. Krejcikova needs to stop Rybakina from having that type of success in her return games. The issue that Krejcikova is going to have is that as soon as they get into a rally, Rybakina has been playing such aggressive tennis from the first strike, whether it's return or serve, that it becomes very tough to be able to dictate in the rallies. And I think that's what she's going to struggle with because, yes, they played twice on hardcourt, and yes, Krejcikova won. They're a long time ago. It's a bit different. But not only that, I think Rybakina on grass, her weapons are amplified. She hits flat, big ground strokes, and she's got a huge serve. And on grass, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Krejcikova, can also flatten it out. Her serve is potent, but it's nowhere near as big. And she just maybe the return quality is not being super high because it hasn't needed to be against some players. So maybe she'll raise her level for Rybakina, and we'll see a different Krejcikova. But in terms of current level, Rybakina should win this in straight sets almost because Krejcikova is going to struggle, I think, with the firepower that Rybakina brings. Forehand to forehand, I think Rybakina will have the advantage. Backhand to backhand, Krejcikova's backhand is very solid, but I watched Rybakina live today, and her backhand is, I would say, it's arguably top three two-handed backhand on tour. That's how good I think it is. I think it's phenomenal. So, yeah, she is not just hitting winners off serve and the forehand, but the backhand too. She's even coming forward at times to the net, which is fantastic. And she said, she doesn't always feel super comfortable, but she does come forward when she can because she knows it's a really useful tool to have for someone with such a big serve and as for someone who's as tall as her as well. Krejcikova's got great hands, but both players, I think, have won 68% of net points in the tournament so far. So it's not an incredibly high stat, but it is solid. Krejcikova coming forward to the net, she's going to have to do that by being on the front foot. And it's just whether Rybakina lets her be on the front foot for that longer period of time, or if, they rush it, then if Krejcikova comes to the net, she could easily get passed by Rybakina. But what Krejcikova might want to do is mix it up. And I think that's what she did quite well in the two meetings is slicing and dicing a little bit. Rybakina is not going to like keeping the forehand or backhand that's bouncing up to her ankles. She's not going to enjoy that. She's not going to enjoy being moved around awkwardly as well. Rybakina is not the best mover on tour. So Krejcikova, she's able to make it a little bit physical. Make Rybakina have to defend at times as well, which is important because Rybakina is constantly on the front foot otherwise. Then Krejcikova has a chance. Serve well, make it physical, mix it up, and get Rybakina to move as much as possible in awkward positions. For Rybakina, she just needs to do what she's been doing. In all honesty, if she plays her level, I think she wins. I think she wins quite comfortably, actually. Krejcikova said in the press conference that she didn't even expect to be in the semi-finals of Wimbledon this year. So this has been a really big run for her, and I expect it to end here. I think it's going to be Rybakina in straight sets. Let me know your prediction in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you very, very soon.